Tired of managing accounting processes manually in QuickBooks? With RunMyProcess, you can automate tasks like creating invoices, managing customers, and processing payments in just a few steps. In this video, you'll learn how to integrate these tools to save time and focus on what really matters, growing your business. Let's start by accessing the Intuit developer platform, where we'll set up everything needed to connect with QuickBooks. If you don't have an account, simply click the Sign Up button in the top right corner. Once you're registered, log in, and you'll be ready to access the OAuth 2.0 Playground. In the OAuth 2.0 Playground, you'll find the credentials needed to connect with QuickBooks: the client ID, the client secret, and the refresh token. These credentials are essential for setting up authentication, and now let's configure the authentication provider in RunMyProcess. This step is crucial because it manages how our connection to QuickBooks is authenticated. Log into RunMyProcess and select the option to create a new provider. In the URL field, enter /oauth.platform.intuit.com. Then, choose the login password authentication scheme. For the login field, paste your client ID from the Intuit Playground. In the password field, use your client secret. Make sure to configure this authentication in the Test, Acceptance, and Live tabs to ensure it works in all environments. Finally, save your changes. This provider will be used to generate the access tokens we'll need later. The next step is to create a REST connector in RunMyProcess to fetch access tokens from our configured provider. This connector will generate a new access token using the refresh token. Go to the Connectors menu in RunMyProcess and select the option to create a new REST connector. In the connector URL field, enter OAuth2 v1 token/bearer. Choose the REST XML RPC architecture and the post method. Make sure the result format is set to JSON. For the content type, select Application JSON. In the content header, select Application X form URL encoded. Now, in the request body, add the following content: Makefile, grant type equals refresh token and refresh token your refresh token. Replace your refresh token with the refresh token generated in the Intuit Playground. Save the connector, and it will be ready to generate new access tokens when needed. Now that we've set up the connector, it's time to test it to ensure it's working correctly. Click on the Launch Test button in the top right corner of the screen. This will send the request to the configured endpoint. If everything is set up properly, you should receive a JSON response with a new access token and its expiration time. Make sure to save the access token, as we'll use it in the next steps. Next, we'll configure a provider in RunMyProcess to make API requests to QuickBooks using the bearer token. Go to the Providers section and create a new one. In the URL field, enter the base URL for the QuickBooks/sandbox-quickbooks.api.intuit.com. Select Custom as the authentication scheme. In the scheme name field, Bearer. In the Credentials field, paste the access token you previously generated when testing the connector. Configure this provider to work in the Test, Acceptance, and Live environments. This ensures the requests work properly across all environments. Finally, save your changes. This provider will be used by all connectors interacting with QuickBooks APIs. Now let's create a connector to fetch company information from QuickBooks. Use the endpoint, Perl v3 company/realmid query select two rows company info, replace realmid with your company ID. Set the method to get, architecture to REST XML RPC, and result format to JSON. Save the connector. This will validate that the connection works correctly. It's time to test our connector to ensure it's working properly. Click on the Launch Test button in the top right corner. Watch as the request is executed and returns a JSON response. Here, we can see company data such as the legal name, email, phone, and more. If you receive this information successfully, it means the connection to the QuickBooks APIs is working perfectly. As you can see, we've created a functional connector to retrieve company information, but this is just the beginning. With RunMyProcess, you can build a variety of connectors for QuickBooks, from managing customers and invoices to recording payments and generating estimates. Its flexibility and ability to integrate with multiple services make it a powerful tool for automating business processes. Thank you for joining me in this tutorial, and see you in the next video.